What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk a little bit about Prototype yet again. Circle back on that remaster, remake concept. Now, remember, we talked about a rumor that the rumor itself said that it's a new Prototype game. Okay, you can go back on the channel. I'll link it here at the end of this video. There's a rumor that we're getting a new Prototype game, which is, to me, like the greatest news story. One of, I guess, Sly Cooper would be probably number one. But, you know, there's few things in this world, gaming-wise, that would make me more excited than getting freaking Prototype back. I genuinely mean that. The franchise deserves it, and that's what we're here really to talk about in this video. But if you watch that video, we talked about just some of like the entry-level details of this thing, and it sounded more like a remaster remake than it did a brand new game. Now, look, I'm here for a brand new Prototype game. I'm here for a brand new like reboot. If you wanted to do Prototype 1 again with Alex Mercer, a remake, you know, and that's kind of the thing here. Remake, remaster. Now, one thing to kind of quickly throw out there, though, right, is there is a difference. If you remake this game, you are talking more, you know, you have to do more to it, and we actually have to talk more about, you know, what it would be versus a remaster. But the general idea of this video is just that, okay, now would be the time, I feel, to do it. If you guys want me to talk more about it, I've had a couple ideas of how I would remake Prototype, and I could definitely do that video in a few weeks if you guys want me to. But for this, it's just general, like, is now the time to do something like this? And I think the answer is yes. Now, look, it's not based off of any kind of, like, deep dive stats or, you know, like I polled 1,000 people. Honestly, it's just a vibe I get that... and I mean, look, granted, it is also from like comments and like things I've seen online. Okay, one, we are in the age of remasters and remakes, and I feel like, though, okay, you can say that, and we've gotten them, and we've gotten, like, ones that are very unnecessary, right? And then we've also gotten ones that have been heavily supported, and I guess that's kind of where I would lean, like, optimistically, right? I would lean to that, where I feel like people are here, people are ready to support a remaster remake of something that really feels like it needs it, right, or deserves it, and I think mixing that with the type of game Prototype is, because I do think that's important. And again, it's not based off of any, you know, massively long stat sheet, but the type of game Prototype is, I feel like is dying. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart, is dying to come back. Now, that could be a biasness because I do love Prototype, and I love another well-known game in the same kind of vein of it, Infamous, right? And I don't know, I see so much on social media, but I also feel, just generally, I feel like if you were to do a new Infamous, if you were to do a new Prototype, like, that anti-hero, be good, be bad type thing. Now, Infamous leaned on that more than Prototype did, right? And that's something you maybe would have to consider if you remake Prototype. Like, maybe, you know, especially remake / if you do a completely new one, right? This idea that you kind of do have to be an anti-hero, but that doesn't mean you have to be totally bad. Maybe you can choose, you know, a little bit good versus bad. But that kind of game, I just feel like people are ready for now. And to be honest with you, okay, and we've talked about this before, a Prototype, it's what actually frustrates me to no end about it. People are always ready for it. Like, the game did well. If you recall, okay, you can go back and look at news stuff and all. I think Prototype 2 did less, like performed less or worse than Prototype 1. So it kind of backtracked, and generally it just didn't do what Activision was looking for, okay? It just didn't match, like, you know, whatever their projections were. But I never saw anything, even to this day, that, like, these games were, like, you know, massively underperforming, like, failures. I feel like people were always there. Infamous was a pretty darn good selling game and made it 3 games. It got DLC, you know, the second, actually 2 and 3, right? Festival of Blood and First Light. Like, these are games that not only I think would be supported now, but have been supported. Like, historically, they've been supported, and I just feel, and here's kind of the template, right? This semi-open world anti-hero thing, I think, is the blueprint, and I think would just work so well. You know, a game that can be 15, 20, 25 hours, I feel like people, and maybe Expedition 33 is a good example of that, right? Like, that game, no, it's not selling 10 million units, but that game's selling. That game's doing extremely well, and I know it's a completely different genre, but it's also not a game that's 100 hours long. Like, and maybe that shows something to somebody. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's a lesson that Activision and Xbox is keeping an eye on, but, you know, it's on Game Pass, so maybe Xbox is watching it at least a little bit. I just feel the type of game that Prototype is would be supported, has been supported, and deserves it. Really does deserve it. Again, remastering it versus remaking it, yeah, you're talking about a lot more, right? A remaster, I would say, probably doesn't excite people as much, but I feel like Prototype does have a pretty good kind of under-the-radar audience out there that would do quite well. And by the way, because it's Activision, it would probably be a Game Pass thing, and that would also, like a remaster, Prototype remastered, right? That would, I feel like, just get eyes on it, bringing it back firstly, but then also putting it on Game Pass. And remaking it, I really feel like that's that next step where it's like, okay, basically a new game, at that point, and you could have the new systems, you could have new stuff in place. And by the way, those are taking, like, that's not even what the rumor was, right? Like, the rumor was a brand new game. I'm almost bringing it down and being like, okay, I want to bring it to something that's a little bit more realistic, at least in my mind, because I can't believe, just because of how it's been treated for so long, that we would get, a brand new game. So it's like, okay, that's probably them overstretching. What about, like, what's a realistic thing that could happen? A remaster remake, right? I don't know. It's the right era. We've gotten remasters and remakes on games that are way less deserving than Prototype. I could list off probably 20 games that have gotten remasters or remakes that deserved it less than a game like Prototype. So you let me know what you think in the comments, and like I said, let me know. I've thought about it. I'll probably end up doing it whether people want me to or not, but maybe how I would remake Prototype is a video idea I'm thinking of doing. Let me know. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.